I'm Corvin Jose Lord Hayes. This is the Garden of Thorns. They came with clenched hands and sermon faces, convinced that grasping was the same as holding truth. They crammed their fingers into every hedge that moved, thumbed the stems of other people's lives as if pruning could fix a stranger's wound. Their mouths barked warnings, and their eyes were sharpened with suspicion. A small, furious army, convinced that tightening the fist would seal the world into order. But the world is not a glove to be worn. The world is wild. The first thing we learn in this story, the lesson that tastes like iron in the mouth, is simple and stubborn. The tighter you clutch, the faster the branch will slip. Control is a pressure. Pressure births panic. Panic births break. Where hands clutch to command, spirit only rebels. That is the geometry of it. That is the law we keep repeating until the fingers are raw. Watch this place, then. A field grown from the very blood of those who tried to hold. They squeezed the thorns until their palms split. They blamed the thorns for the bleeding, though the wounds were cut by their own grip. From those drops, the soil fed, and the soil answered with a crown. A savage, magnificent hedge that glittered with danger and with stubborn beauty. A garden rose that was all bramble and warning, splendid, treacherous, honest in its cruelty. We walk along the crumbled edges of that garden. The path is narrow and honest. It takes a certain gait, a stride that knows the wall is a wall but believes that walls are also thresholds. You do not batter at these thorns. You do not clench. You step along the seam between fear and curiosity, and you find the way to the lake beyond the horizon. The people who once squeezed the thorns live in two stories. One is that of the loud barkers who trade in other people's lives to feel less tiny inside. The other is quieter. The ones who return home to broken plates and slammed doors, who long for peace as if peace were a lamp to be bought at the corner store. Both stories end the same way when repeated without thought. Gardens that grow wild with neglect. Hearts that harden like unwatered clay. There is another lesson here, older than the outrage. Words are seeds. A thrown insult is a seed that finds its bed in the speaker as surely as in the herd. The one who says, "You cannot," hands herself iron bars. The one who declares, "You will fail," becomes a prisoner of that very forecast. Words circle. They return. The barkers build shields made of words, but words are not armor. They are echo chambers. They ricochet and cut. When help arrives, the one behind the shield often cannot take it. Their tongues are raw. Their gates are closed. And yet, and this is the part that will not let us look away, from the same wounds came a strange fertility. The bramble is less a punishment than a map. Where blood fell, the plant learned to be lush. Where control burned, growth learned to armor itself. The garden is not only a trap, it is a testament. It sings of what was taught and what was misunderstood. It holds the history of every tightened fist and each apology never offered. It remembers the children taught to point and howl, and the parents who handed down the habit like an heirloom. So we come to the edge, not to condemn, but to learn the step. We tread the seam between softness and caution. We practice gratitude like a muscle, lifting it until the heart remembers how to hold quiet joy. We trade the blinders of fear for wide awareness, so we may see both the thorn and the tender shoot beneath. We speak less to wound and more to water. We apologize. We plant with our hands open. If you know how to step, and one learns only by stepping, the maze gives way. The thorns part enough to reveal a narrow corridor that opens upon a lake, still, deep, and luminous, lying like a truth just beyond the horizon. The lake is not a prize, but a promise. That tenderness can exist beside vigilance. That gravity and grace can be neighbors. That the wounds we inherit can, when tended, become the compost of a new kind of growth. Come close. Take the step that is neither assault nor retreat. Walk as if you might pass through a wall, not to escape, but to enter more fully into the place where thorns teach and water answers. The Garden of Thorns is not a punishment, nor a curse, but a mirror. Each twisted branch, each needle that gleams in the faintest light, is the memory of a grasp once too tight. A desire to hold what could never be held. The ones who clutched so hard thought they were defending truth, but truth is not defended, it is revealed, and it never needed their clenched fists. The lake beyond the horizon waits in silence, its surface like glass, reflecting skies that no bird dares to cross. But between here and there, the thorns demand an initiation, a dance of precision, of humility, of listening. For if you rush, you are cut. If you force, you are pierced. But if you move with patience, if you allow the thorn to guide the space between your steps. Then the path opens like a riddle unraveling in your favor. And those who bled once in ignorance find their blood turned to wine in the roots of the bramble. The thorns drink it, the earth remembers it, and the very cruelty of their struggle becomes the sweetness of the roses that bloom secretly among the barbs. Few see them, fewer pluck them, for they are hidden treasures for the eyes that have learned that control destroys, but surrender creates. The garden whispers still. Your hands need not seize. Your voice need not thrash. Your belief need not be defended. For that which is real cannot be harmed. Then the final turn reveals itself. The thorns that once seemed endless now form an archway. Their sharpness has not vanished, but your eyes see differently. Each barb is a star. Each twist of branch a constellation. They no longer guard against you. They illuminate for you. Step by step, you pass beneath, and the light grows softer, as if the whole cosmos exhales. What once was menace is now music. What once was prison is now passage. Beyond the archway, the lake shimmers. Its surface is not water at all, but pure remembrance. And when you kneel to drink, you taste not your wounds, not your errors, but only clarity, a sweetness untouched by time. The garden fades, yet its lesson remains in you forever. That hate is only ignorance grasping at shadows, and ignorance dissolves when seen in the light of patience, gentleness, and truth. And so the thorns do not disappear. They become your crown, not a crown of suffering, but of understanding, woven by the hands of eternity herself. You rise, radiant, and the thorns bow their heads, their whispers hushed, for they know the one who feared them has become their keeper of beauty. Yeah.